Companies from entertainment to engineering are jumping on the AI bandwagon, and they are willing to pay big bucks to get ahead of the competition. Netflix recently posted a senior role in machine learning with a pay range offering up to, get this, $900,000. Here to discuss more is AI researcher and professor at NYU's Business School, Stern, Vasant Dhar. Thank you so much for joining us today, Professor.
Great to be here, Diane.
Thank you. And let's get right into this. So this was like, when I saw this number, and of course there are other high paying jobs in this industry, but that one really jumped out to me. What do you make of that $900,000 for an AI role?
Yeah, how about that? Right? It's this reminds me of Wall Street in the 90s, right? It's just sort of musical chairs. Now it's big tech. And it just tells you what someone really good is worth to these companies. The stakes are high. So people out there are saying, we need to do something. We need to get really good people and let's pay them, right? So that's what you're seeing here.
So the stakes are high, but especially when it comes to generative AI, to us, this is a newer kind of frontier. You don't have that many companies that are at the leader of the pack. So how do they know this is the value that this role should have?
Well, that's a great question. So assuming that companies know what they're doing and what they want to do with AI, which is a big assumption, because what I see is people sort of scrambling and say, hey, we need to do something, but it's not clear what they want to do. But assuming that they get some clarity around what AI really means for their business, then these numbers are justified, right? Because the value that someone really good can bring to the table is awesome. Now, the trouble is that there's a high variance in people's abilities and skills to actually translate something into real sort of, money, business profits. So it's not easy to get the right person, but if you can get the right person, then the right person is worth that kind of money. I mean, you can't pay people enough, the right people enough, for this thing. There's lots of people out there, but getting the right people, that's the challenge.
And one of the things we're showing right now is a graphic of some of the job opportunities that are out there within AI. And these are on the lower end of the range we're discussing from jobs paying in the $200,000 range to the $400,000 range. So not quite at that Netflix level of $900,000. So what kind of, and the companies that probably come to mind for you, or say, an NVIDIA, what kind of companies really kind of understand this best versus companies that are like, to your point, we got to get in on this?
Well, the majority fall in the second category, right? So most people are saying we need to do something, but it doesn't clear what they need to do. While you have some companies who are the leaders and AI is their business, right? So Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, AI is their business. And so they've got the skills, they've got the best talent, and they have no, difficulty attracting good talent. But, regular companies, they have a hard time attracting that kind of talent. So they're willing to pay up.
And I want to ask you really quickly, the flip of this is there was a report out earlier this week about a percentage of companies that have replaced jobs with AI. With the generative AI, kind of the technology versus a person. How effective do you think that can actually be, especially when you also have some issues with regard to AI doing what it says it can do, the problem with making stuff up, the hallucination effect?
Okay, all right. Well, there were two parts to your question, and I've already forgotten the first one because the hallucinations are so
Let's go with hallucination and talk about that piece, because there was a report out today about issues like with OpenAI, these models tested for hallucinations, and they were given questions and they got it wrong.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be surprised, right? We should not conflate the ability of the computer to speak well with knowledge, right? It's like, someone just said that it's like an alien species that's descended on Earth, and they speak such good English that we think they know everything. And they don't. We should not be surprised that they get a lot of things wrong, just like people do, right? People get all kinds of things wrong. So why should you expect, ChatGPT to get everything right? Because it's been trained on everything out there, right? It's learned truths, falsehoods, slurs, everything, right? And these are these sort of, what I call pre-trained models that have been, trained on everything out there. And then you get applications built on top of them, like ChatGPT, where you sort of train it to, talk in a certain way. Right. But it inherits all of the, sort of limitations of these sort of pre-trained models that it's built on. And that's the thing to keep in mind is that, these pre-trained models make it easy to build applications really quickly, but they'll inherit the limitations of these models. And, one of the sort of big limitations of this current sort of paradigm is that despite the really impressive things that AI has accomplished, and the most impressive one is the fact that a machine can actually talk to you. It has huge limitations, right? There are lots of things that it doesn't know, and we don't know the things that it doesn't know.
All right.
So it becomes hard to trust it. It's like talking to someone really intelligent, but you don't really know whether you should trust them all the time.
That's right. Well, we will have to put a pin in that and explore the trust question later. Professor Vasant Dhar from NYU's Stern, we appreciate you. Thank you.